everyone. Today, what we'll do, we'll understand the question pattern of Hack with Infy, the upcoming coding jam, and we'll understand what kind of question they ask. Okay, so I have one sample problem that I will show you. Let's go ahead and here the problem statement. Okay, so before you solve the problem, it's super important that we read the problem very carefully. And once you have the understanding of the problem statement, you can figure out the solution. Okay, cool, yeah, cool. So now here I'll explain you the problem statement. Again, the problem is pretty cool. Okay, we'll read the problem statement properly, then we'll understand how we can solve this. Now today you decided to go to gym. You currently have E energy. There are n exercises in the gym. So which means that let's say you have this. Okay, let's say you have this, and now you have this. And what you want actually, you have right now the energy E. Okay, energy E, and you want to perform some n exercises. You want to perform some n exercises. N exercises. Cool. So now again, then we read the problem further. Because now we have understood what is the problem about. The problem is about gym and you. Cool. And the amount of energy you have and the number of exercises you want to perform. Cool. Each of these exercise drains AI amount of energy. So what is A? We'll understand. I guess A is an array here, and where I is an index. Okay, I is index. Amount of energy from your body. You feel tired if your energy reaches 0 or below. So which means that what you have some number of exercises into a particular array, and when you perform a particular exercise, that drains some amount of energy from your body. Cool. So now when your body has energy 0 or less than 0, then you are tired. That's what they have mentioned. Calculate the minimum number of exercises you have to perform such that you became tired. So what is the problem statement? That you have to perform some few exercises from that array which can make you tired. Okay, now every unique exercise can only be performed at most 2 times, which means that every exercise is maximally possible to perform 2 times only. Okay, as others also have to use the machines, because other people may also have to use the machines. If performing all the exercises does not make you feel tired, return -1. So which means that let's say you have 10 exercises and you performed every one of them, and still you have energy, then return -1, which means you're not tired. Okay. So now we understand the problem statement that we will have an array, there we will have few exercises. For example, we'll take few examples from here and then we'll understand it. Okay, so first we'll understand how they are giving the input, then we'll put the value into the example, we'll understand how we can make the problem statement and how we can solve it. Okay, so now here the first input will be an integer value. Okay, and that is the energy. The first line contains an integer E denoting the energy. So first time from user input we'll take the energy E. Second time we'll take N, and the N is the next line contains integer N denoting the number of exercises. Means the number of exercises we want to store in this array. So we can say the size of the array and the number of exercises. So for that I'll write N here because they have already denoted the variable names. Again, A is an integer array. Each line I of n subsequent lines where 0 is less than or equals to I and I is less than n, means just the iterating condition of the array, contains an integer describing the amount of energy drained by ith exercise, which means that you have this array that will contain some values of the exercises of the I exercise which can drain the amount of energy from your body. Okay, for example, here they have given example. First example is 6, which means the value of E is 6. The value of E is 6. Cool. Now the second thing is the 2, the size of array, the n number of exercises you can perform, which is n, and n is given as what? N is given as 2 here. Okay, so which means that now you have an array of size 2, and again you want to insert 2 values, 1, 2. So this is, let's say, array A where you have inserted 2 elements, 1, 2. Okay, now what we need to return, we'll understand into the new slide that we have output window as well. Output is 4. Why is that? When E was 6, do first exercise 2 times, which means first exercise which was, you remember that A is equals to 1, 2. which means that if you do this exercise 2 times, you will take the 4 energy less, right? 4 amount of energy, whatever the unit. And again, if you do the first exercise 2 times, you will drain 2 energy, right? 2 unit of energy. So the total energy will be the 6. And now you have the total energy at 6, right? So now you have drained all the energy and your current energy level is now 6 minus 6, which means 0. Which means 0. That's what you have to do. So, right, I hope the problem statement is quite clear to you now, but still we understand the another test case to understand it more better. For example, in the case 2, we have input value is 10, which means the energy level, the value of E is 10 now. Again we have 2, which means that size of the array is 2. So we will create an array with size 2. Cool here. Now we have 2 inputs, 1 comma 2. Okay, so we want to perform like number of exercises. So at most you can perform a particular exercise 2 times. So if you take the maximum value, like you perform this exercise 2 times, you will take 4 unit energy. If you perform this exercise 2 times, then you will take 2 unit energy, which is total is equals to 6. But still, if you see this 10 minus 6, still you have 4 unit energy, right? You are not tired. So you have to return what? You have to return minus 1. Okay, now we'll understand the case number 3 as well. So now they're telling like you E, which is 3, E, which is 3. Now, cool. And again, what you want is when E is 3 means E is 2 here, right? So E is 2, energy is 2, and the size of the array, which is 3, which is what? Which is 3. And now what you have to do, you have the few values 1 comma 5 comma 2. Okay, so now you want to perform the number of exercises which can drain your energy. So again, if you take the harder exercise, that will drain your energy maximum with very fast speed. So what actually the overall goal is to drain your whole energy. So what you can do is you can perform the energy which consumes more and more energy, right? You can perform the exercise which consumes more and more energy. So if we sort this array, we will have this 1 comma 2 comma 5 in ascending order. And from the at the end you perform starting exercises, and every exercise you can perform at most 2 times, right? So now if you perform this 5, you'll be performing only once, and what will happen? Your energy will be negative. Once you will do this exercise, your energy will be negative, right? So now if you perform this 1 time, and your energy will be negative. Your energy will be negative, right? So now here look at this, because 1 round of exercise will take you a 5 unit of energy, and right now in your body you have just 2 unit. So now the current energy level will be 2 minus 5, which means minus 3. You're tired now. So you can perform only 1 exercise right now, right? The minimum 1 exercise you need to perform to be tired. I hope the problem statement is clear. Right? The problem statement is clear. We understand once again. So we had what? In the first input we had the energy level. In the second we had the size of the array. In the third input we have the input values. Right? Input value of array, right? So the logic is we want to get tired, we want to drain all our energy. So what you have to do is that you have to perform the exercise which takes most of the energy, which means your arrays will be sorted. And if the array is sorted, you can start from the end. The last exercise will take the maximum amount of energy, right? So for example, you have this array A where you have few values 1 comma 3 comma 2, right? And you want to perform the exercise which will take the maximum energy. And let's say you have the value of E, which is value of energy, which is, let's say I'm telling you, let's say 8. Okay, so the energy, I'm assuming you have energy as 8. Okay, energy as 8. So 8 unit, we are assuming. So again, I want to perform the exercise which can take the maximum amount of energy. So for that purpose, what I have to do, I have to sort this array. So which means this will be 1 comma 2 comma 3. And if I start from end, we know the last element will consume maximum amount of energy. We'll perform this first exercise, we will take the 3 unit of energy. So which means that if we perform 2 rounds of it, because maximum we can perform 2 times. So if we perform 2 rounds of it, so we will take the 6 unit of energy. Yes or no? Again, if we perform 1 round of this, we will take the 2 amount of energy. Now if you see this, so we have already drained all our energy. 2 plus 6, which is 8, and we had this. So now how many exercises we have performed? 2 only. How many exercises we have performed? 2 only, right? So that's what the problem is, Jim. I hope you understand that you will have an array, right? And if you sort this, so at the end you will have the exercise which will drain maximum amount of energy. And if you start from there, it's possible that you can drain all your body, all your energy in very few exercises, right? So now I hope the problem is completely clear to everybody. And now what I want to tell you a very, very important thing. Because anyhow I don't want that you should see any kind of rejection. If you want like anyhow this hack with Infy has a complex level because they are having a first round of coding where they will ask three questions. And these three coding questions will be super tough. One may be easy, second, medium, third will be the hard problem. Okay. So now if you want to prepare for the resources, prepare for the things, I have something to show you. I have something to show you that may help you a lot. So you can visit Prevensta Prime where you will see the data structures course. Okay, search for the competitive programming and you will see one course. Competitive programming Prevensta Prime. So you will see one course where we have covered everything about the competitive programming. Look at this competitive coding. So now this course, I'll continue with this. I'll just remove it. I'll just continue in a second. Okay. Now good to go. So now in this competitive course, you can start from just from starting part from here, from array, bit manipulation, recursion, analysis of algorithm, backtracking, dynamic programming. Dynamic programming is super important because if tough problems comes, it always comes from the dynamic programming. So maybe this course can help you a lot. Go through it. Also, there is a one page for professor.com where you can understand all the pattern of this hack with Infy, competitive exam, this coding exam. So I hope this quite clear to everybody. You can refer this. Okay, cool here. So now we'll go to our compiler to execute to write our code. Cool here. So I'll search for Prepinsta coding compiler. Okay. So there is a one coding compiler because I love it. I use it a lot. So now I'll just escape it. I have this. I'll search for Java. You have the option to write code in Java, C++. Okay, JavaScript as well. So now what I'll do, I'll write code for you for this particular problem statement. Okay, so what was our problem statement that we need to take few inputs first, right? So for taking input in Java, what we use scanner class. You know that, right? We use scanner class in Java. So now what I'll do, I'll use a scanner class, scanner, and one object that may be sc equals to new scanner, and now here system.in for taking the input from the user, right, from the command line. So for that purpose, because we are using a scanner class, you have to import what? You have to import the scanner class. So java.util.scanner, right? So this is, or we can import all the util package because in future if we use anything else, that will be helpful. So now in the first line, what was the problem statement is saying? In the first line, we were taking the energy, right? So I'll declare variable, let's say int e, and here I'll take the input of energy. So sc.next int, and here I'm taking the integer as input for energy, and again we were taking the another variable which was taking the n, the size of the array, right? The number of exercises we had. So I'll take as integer value next int, and now if you have we have the size of that array, means the number of exercises and the amount of energy. So now our next task is to take the input of the value inside the array, and they were taking the new line. You remember, like this, like here. You see this? You remember this? We were taking input in the new lines. Look at this, 1 and 2. We were taking here 1 and 2, which were in the new line. So we're taking input every time in the new line. We have to take input in a loop. So I'm starting from 0 index. I'll go till n. Right, the size of the array and I++. Cool. Now here every time we'll take the input in our array, and before we take the input, we have to define that array also, right? So int, let's say they have defined the array name as a, so I'll do the same thing. Again new int. That's how you know you want to define an array with a size n. So that's what we are doing here, right? So the size is n here. Now what we will do? We'll take the input. We'll take the input from the user, right? So we are taking the input with the help of next int method. So now we will have the integer value inputted in this particular array. So now what we have taken the user input. Now it's time to perform the computation, right? And our logic was, what was our logic? Our logic was that if we sort the array, so at the end we will have the maximum amount of energy. For that purpose, I'll create another method static that will return an integer value. And now let's say I'll give the method name to calculate, and now here I'll take an input as array. First is array and second is the energy. Okay, so I'll take the energy. Cool here. Now here what I'll do, I'll sort the array first. Why? Because I want to sort this array to take the exercise which will drain the maximum amount of energy. And if the array is sorted in ascending order, the last element will take the maximum amount of energy. Yes or no? So I'll take this array.sort and I'll sort it. ARR has been sorted now. So now you have sorted the array, right? And you want to count the number of exercises. So we'll declare variable count where we're starting with 0. Like we haven't performed any exercise, right? And now what I want is that what we have now, the array is sorted. We have initialized a counter variable. Now we want to consume the energy, right? And every exercise can be performed maximum 2 times. So if we perform the exercise which takes most of the energy out from the body at the maximum time, which is 2 times, right? And then we go to the next exercise. It's a possible that we will drain all of our energy very soon, right? So what I'll do for taking the exercises, I'll do one thing. I'll iterate our array. So starting from 0, not 0 actually, from the last, right? We want the maximum amount of energy to be drained. So we'll start I is equals to ARR dot length minus 1, which means the last element's index. And now I should be greater than or equals to 0, which means till the first element, and again then I minus minus, because every time what we are doing, we are starting from the last and we reach to the first part, right? So now here what we are doing, we can maximally perform that exercise 2 times. Yes or no? Any exercise we can perform maximum 2 times. That was mentioned in the problem statement itself. So what we'll do, we'll have an internal loop which will perform that exercise 2 times and will drain the energy. We'll reduce the energy level inside the body. Cool. So now j should be less than 2, which means 0 and 1. 2 times we have done this. Cool here. Now j plus plus, right? So now here for every round, what will happen? The amount of energy will be drained from the body will be what? Whatever the value is available inside that array. So ARRI, which means the last element. So what will happen? It will drain the amount of energy from the body 2 times. Why? Because this internal loop will execute 2 times, and the whole value of E will be reduced by the value given in the array itself, right? 2 times. So now every time you reduce it, every time you need to count the exercise, like how many exercises you have performed. So now you have to do count plus plus. And once what happens in your body, if the energy level is less than or equals to 0, in that case you need to return count, like how many exercises you have performed. And if your energy is not drained, which means this condition will never come and your whole array is exhausted, your whole array value has been used, then in that case what you have to do, you have to return minus 1, right? You have to return what? You have to return minus 1. I hope this is for if, and this is for this for, and at then we want for this for, right? So now here we can return minus 1. Cool here. I hope it's fine, right? I hope it's fine. Like if we are not draining our whole energy, then all the exercise has been finished, means we have added the whole array and still we are energetic, then you have to return minus 1. And that's what the problem statement was. So now from here we will get the value of count. Maybe it could be a minus 1 or it could be a like the value we getting after performing some few exercises, right? The count of the exercises. So here at the end we'll print it system dot out dot println, and here we will print what we will print. We'll print the counts value, right? And that will be returned from this method itself. So calculate what? We'll pass that array. And array name is A, comma, then the amount of energy E. Right? So that's what we have to do. And we'll also do a dry run to understand more better. Here we'll pass the input values. So the first input value is what? The amount of energy. In our example, we had given with 6. The size of the array, you remember, was 2, and we have 2 values, 1, 2. Right? So now we'll run this code, and we'll see our input. We'll see our output. Calculate what's mentioning. Expected something where? Line number 11. Let's see what we have missed. Okay, actually here I wanted to write a comma. It became a dot. Clear? I guess now it's clear. Now, now let's see. It's a 4. It's a 4, right? Then that's what the problem statement. I hope you remember. I hope you remember. Remember, output was 4 for this input value. For this input value, right? So that's what we have done. So this is what the problem statement we wanted to discuss. And now here this is the solution which you can use. A perfect solution which you can use, right? So that was the problem statement. But again, what I want to tell you how it's working. Let's understand in a 1 second. Here you will have the input value of E as 6. Yes or no? Here you will have the size of the array as 2, and here you will have the array which initially has defined as an empty array with an slash value with 0 0, right, size 2, and here you will take the input values. So now both the times you have initialized that array with 1 comma 2. Like right now they are sorted, but what if they are not sorted? So for that purpose we have to sort this array. So right now you will have this array as sorted, which means 1 comma 2. Here at starting the count value is 0. You will iterate this, the condition you will check like if the I is greater than or equals to 0, the value of I is now 1 here. Why? Why? Because the length of the array is 2. So 2 minus 1 becomes 1, which means that we have two indexes only, 0 and 1. Because you know if the size is 2, you have the index only 2 indexes, 0 and 1. Right? So we are starting our I with 1. Right? And the condition is true. Because 1 is greater than or equals to 0. Right? Which is true. So now here what will happen? We want to perform the exercise at maximum time, which drains most of the energy, right? So now here what you will do is, because we have iterated, we have sorted that array in a ascending form, the last element will, last exercise will drain the maximum amount of energy. So we are performing that exercise 2 times, because they have mentioned you can perform at most 2 times a particular exercise, a unique exercise. So we are performing the exercise which takes the maximum amount of energy 2 times from this loop, right? So every time for the first time what will happen? You will reduce the value of E by the value which I have given. So the value of E will become what? At the end what we have 2, right? So you will drain by 2. So now the energy will be 6 minus 2. Again the value of count here will become what? Value of count will become 1. Now this condition is not true, then what will happen? Loop will execute again. This loop 1, j was 0, now j became 1, So now tell me the energy of level, what will happen here? So now the value of E will be, you will drain 2 unit energy again, which means that 4 minus, previously it was 6 minus 2, which means the energy was 2, which energy was 4. So now 4 minus 2, which means now the energy became 2. Yes or no? So what will happen? This loop will stop working because the value of j became 1 and we wanted to run this only 2 times, for 0 index or 1 index. Cool, yeah. Now again we will do I plus plus, because this loop has been executed completely. I plus plus, we went to the outer loop, and here what will happen? Tell me, here what will happen? Here you will have like this. The length was 2 minus 1 becomes, there was 1, right? And previously I was 0, now I is 1. When I is 1, you will execute this again, which means that when I is equals to, previously was 1, now it's a 0. When I is 0, you will execute this loop again 2 times, which means that you will drain the energy from the zeros index exercise. So now at 0 index what we have 1. We have 1, right? So now the value of E will become the 2 minus 1 for the first time, and second time when j will be 1, you will drain that energy again, and that energy became 1. So 1 minus 1 becomes 0. 1 minus 1 becomes 0. And 2 times we have executed first time, 2 times we have executed this, and 2 times we have executed this, right? For this internal loop for the 0th index. So now tell me the value of count. The value of count will become 4. And you see now the level of energy, 1 minus 1 becomes 0. Now the level of energy you have currently is 0. Right? So which means you will return the count as 4. So this is what the problem statement. And once again I'll advise you, if you are lacking in the competitive programming, you're lacking in the advanced concept DSA, you should refer one course over Pakinsta Prime, which is a complete design for the competitive programming. And trust me, the level of this exam is going to be hard. Like they will ask one easy, one medium, and one hard question. So you need a right preparation. So you can refer this. Okay, cool. Yeah, I hope all the topics are there. All the important topics are here. You can prepare them. And also, once you will have this subscription, you will have a lot of access of the other courses as well. So for upcoming companies, for upcoming exams, you can prepare from here itself. Cool. Yeah, cool. So I hope It's clear to all. Okay, guys, see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Take care.